There's a story coming out of Oklahoma City at KOCO TV. You had an anchor by the name of Alex Housden. She is a Caucasian female, and you had an anchor by the name of Jason Hackett. Now, that's a black anchor. Now, they was covering the story about a gorilla at a zoo, okay? Now, I want you to hear exactly what Alex says to Jason. Let's roll that short clip.
Zoo just posted.
Okay, you have to see this. This is Finn. We're about to show. Oh my goodness, take a look at him. He's a resident of the Oklahoma City Zoo, and this week the zoo's 8th caretaker took over their Instagram, and we are all loving that they did. And as you can see, Finn was fascinated.
Definitely ready for his close-up.
Kind of looks like you. What do you say? Kind of looks like you. What do you say?
So as you heard, she stated that the gorilla looked like him. Now we know good and well who used that kind of language. Racists use that language. White supremacists use that particular language. Now, in the next clip, she's allowed to apologize. And I want you to pay attention to a few things. I want you to pay attention to how she's going to apologize, pay attention to the gesture she make, and also pay close attention to this black man. But let's roll that clip.
I'm here this morning because I want to apologize, not only to my coworker, Jason, but to our entire community. I said something yesterday that was inconsiderate, it was inappropriate, and I hurt people. And I want you to know, I understand how much I hurt you out there and how much I hurt you. I love you so much, and you have been one of my best friends for the past year and a half, and I would never do anything on purpose to hurt you. And I love our community, and I want you all to know, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize for what I said. I know it was wrong, and I am so sorry.
Oh, Alex, thank you very much, and I do accept your apology, and I do appreciate your apology. I want to let everybody out there know that Alex is one of my best friends. I mean, we do what we do here, and you know, it's not as if we see each other here and then we leave and we go home. We talk every day, or almost every other day. I've told you things, I've shared things with you as a friend, and I do appreciate you and I do love you. All that being said, and Alex will be the first to admit this to you, what she said yesterday was wrong. It cut deep for me, and it cut deep for a lot of you in the community. I've heard the phone calls, and I've heard the Facebook messages as well. And I guess coming out of this, I want this to be a teachable moment, and that lesson here is that words matter. There's no doubt about that. Changing demographics here in this country, the demographics are changing. We're becoming a more diverse country, and there's no excuse. We have to understand the stereotypes. We have to understand each other's backgrounds and the words that hurt, the words that cut deep. And we have to find a way to replace those words with love and words of affirmation as well. You know, what we do here as broadcasters, we use words. Words are the tools of our trade. Much like a plumber would use a wrench or a doctor would use a scalpel, we use words. And our goal and what we need to do is use those words not to hurt and not to divide, but to build a more perfect union. And this is going to be a journey for us. We're learning things here. And we at KOCO5 hope that you join us along on this journey. Thank you guys very much.
So you saw that she apologized. She started the waterworks. She's crying. Well, she wasn't crying when she said it, but she's crying because she got caught, because people on the internet caught that, and they started posting this video and saying, hey, man, she's calling this black man a gorilla. That's what she's calling him. So she's crying because she got caught, not because she got sorry. And she's worried about losing her job. So she's crying and saying, oh, how she loved him and they best of friends. And then I told you guys before about the touching aspect. We talked about this in the past. If you don't know about that, go back and look at the other clips where I told you about the touching and how that is one way to lower your defense, is by touching you while they're looking at you and crying, okay? Because we know people like Alex are great at turning on the waterworks. They really are. So after she said her little statement, he came out, as you saw, and I'm going to talk just how guys talk. I'm talking to guys. He came out looking like a weak and emasculated simp. That's what he came out looking like. There's no other way to call this. How is it that you're talking about she was your friend and You love her. I'm like, man, if someone loved me the way Alex loved me, what in the world would I need an enemy for? I mean, seriously. I mean, how could you even repeat that out of your mouth, brother? How? I mean, come on. You're talking a lot more than she's talking, and she the one say you look like a gorilla, bruh. Why are you trying to explain and saying it's a teachable moment? Teachable moment for who? She the one to be talking more than you. But you up there explaining and trying to rationalize, and that was not nothing at all that we need to follow on the job. If anyone sit up there and call me that, oh, you gonna go, and if you don't go, then that's okay. I'm gonna get paid. That's the way it's gonna work. But the reason that she's still working there is because of him. Why would they fire her when he took it like, well, it's not that, it's an issue, but it's not that big of a deal? Why would they fire her? As many of y'all on Twitter, y'all calling the station, y'all tweeting them, y'all demanding she get fired. And one tweet I saw that the station has said back, well, no, it's their decision and she's still working there. Why would they fire her when the guy that she supposedly offended is cool with it? Why? I'm not going to call for her to be fired. No, I'm not. Because why is it I'm going to sit up here and fight for a grown man that can't defend himself because he chose not to? It's like my kids. I'm not going to sit up here and do anything for you when you're not doing it for yourself. No. That is utterly ridiculous. Now, the proper response for him should have been, from his body language, he should have known something was up. But he said up there looking all, a safe Negro, because that's the look he had at the time period. And if it had been me and I'd have heard that, I'd have been sitting there just crossing my arms like this. And just if she tried to put her hand on me, I'd have been moving my hand like that. And I'd be just standing there looking at her the whole time, sitting there. And I'd let her finish. And then the first thing I would have said to her was, Alex, I do not accept your apology, and I'm going to tell you why. We both know that racialized white supremacist stereotype has been going on for the dawn of time, ever since my ancestors was in chains. We both know that, and you chose to use that. You knew better. You're in your five senses. Why are you crying now? Because you wasn't crying after you said it. You wasn't apologizing or anything. You're going to do it now on TV. So no, I don't accept your apology, for one. Now, you saying you love me as a friend or whatever. Well, man, I mean, what kind of friend are you? Will say something like that to me when you know the climate in this country. You know we having all the hate crimes and the shootings and all the different racialized incidents, and this is what you're going to use to me, a guy that you've been working with for a year and a half? I said, I cannot accept your apology. I say, if it's some sort of teachable moment for you personally, I believe you should be fired, because if I said that to you or say any kind of slur to you or anything out the way to you to make you feel uncomfortable, I would be fired. So I believe you should be fired, Alex. And that would have been the end of it with me. She'll have known real quick that I can't turn on the waterworks with him. It's not going to work. And for sure, she would have got the message where he'd have backed off and saying, don't touch me. And then also, brother, you made up another mistake. Why did you put your hand on that woman's knee? Why did you do that? Like, they could use that to fire you. You know what kind of time period we in with Me Too? You can't be putting your hand on a white woman like that. That's always been that way in this country. What's wrong on national TV? That's what you're going to do. See, but you believe you're not like the rest of us, I guess. You're too safe. And that's why you thought it was okay to do that. Brothers, don't ever do what Jason done in response, or definitely don't put your hands on, don't put your hands on no woman, period, on the job. None. If y'all gonna touch each other off the clock. Don't touch each other at work. That's the quickest way to get yourself out the door. But I'm not gonna sit up here and just have a big, saying the station is wrong. No. If Jason is okay with being called a gorilla, then that woman need to keep her job. It's just that simple. We can't sit up here as a community, go fight for somebody that's not fighting for themselves. No, we can use that energy to fight for people that really need our help and assistance with issues and problems. But Jason is not one of them. And Jason, if you see this video, You need to check yourself. That's the only thing I'm saying. That's not the way a black man is supposed to conduct himself when he's the one that's been called a racialized name. You had every right to say something to her. You didn't have to cuss. You didn't have to name call anything, but you could definitely made your point clear. But that's not what we saw in your response. Very, very sad. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the situation at this particular news station. Understand something. When you are treated this way, you have every right to check them. Every right to do so, even on the job. And he had the upper hand with the situation. And if the company wouldn't have responded, he could have definitely took it to the next level, even up to the point of lawsuit if he wanted to. Understand that. And yet he chose to bow his knee and duck his head and say, yes, ma'am. That's what he chose to do. That is not the example of what a black man should be. Don't ever be some safe, go along, get along Negro. Where has that gotten us as black people? Nowhere. And that's something that we should never, ever do in response to being treated this way when you are being racially attacked. Understand? Jason is not the man that you need to be following his example how to handle things. Check them when it happens. That point, it will be a teachable moment for people like Alex.